So, it's got, about 1/4 to 1/5 of the necessary cannabinoids for a proper medicinal dose. That's how they make the money. If they charge you $5 for this, you gotta have 4 or 5 of them. You're getting 20 to 25 bucks just to get a medicinal dose properly in a whole lot of liquid. At least it's a smaller can, so you can pound a bunch of them. But it's a seltzer; it doesn't have sugar in it. It's just kind of hilarious because you need to have about 100 milligrams of THC for a proper medicinal dose. So the low end, 75. That should be about 50 milligrams of CBD. That should be, well, actually even 100 milligrams CBD, and that should be about 40 to 50 milligrams of CBG to be a proper medical product. And so I just want to point out that one of the downfalls of having the recreational industry is that the dispensaries are no longer geared towards medical products, and so even the regulations in Oregon are restrictive enough that in order to create a medicinal product, you have to basically make it in volumes, because there's the amount that you can have in each serving, and it has to be divisible into that serving. I remember, though, back when medical was still a thing here in Oregon, probably around 2014, maybe 13, I got macaroons that had the appropriate dosage in them. Although they were only focusing on THC back then because they hadn't done as much medical marijuana research. See here it says broad spectrum hemp extract. That's kind of just a marketing term they're using, although I'm sure it is based on hemp, and then they add THC from a regular, like, bearing plant. It says derived from hemp. Yeah, but is it fully made of hemp? They do have an ability, actually, to use the old hemp laws and then refine the hemp outputs and just keep concentrating it, like specific gravity separating it, and then they can get THC out of it, because they've done that for a few, like Binoid is one of the brands that does that. There's CBDhemp.direct that does that, which, by the way, those hemp imports, which I used to get here in Oregon, are now outlawed since 2022 in July, I believe. That's when Oregon kind of usurped the rights of the people and said you can only have hemp imports if they're tested in Oregon for purity according to Oregon standards. Which it really does seem like that screwed a lot of people out of usable medicine. That was something I was going for because they had Delta-8 THC. You notice it says broad spectrum hemp extract. It doesn't talk about having any Delta-8 THC, and having just a bunch of different cannabinoids that come from cannabis, or classical cannabinoids in general, is actually a good thing. The more the merrier. It doesn't say it has carophyllene added to it. If you look here, it doesn't mention carophyllene. It just says broad spectrum hemp extract. If it had carophyllene, it'd be more medicinal. That's a CB2 receptor activator. Also, if they wanted to make it a broad cannabinoid, broad spectrum cannabinoid product, then they should be putting turmeric inside of it as well, or curcuminoids to be more specific. And that would make it far more medicinal. So there are lots of ways. You can even add piperine into it from black pepper extract to make it more of a load, hitting you at once and lasting longer in your body even, and hitting you stronger and longer. So I just wanted to compare, commercial cannabis product compared to what you actually would want to have for medicinal marijuana, and they don't match up. Although this at least doesn't have sugar in it, which is good, because if you had cancer, you do not want any sugar at all. They should, though, be putting in stevia. Stevia is good for your blood sugar, and it's not actually sugar, and it hasn't been proven to cause cardiovascular issues. So I'm just saying, if they wanted to sweeten it, you should be using stevia instead of using sugar easily.